Hello, my name is Julia Santos Humberto, and I am a doctoral research in production engineering at the University of São Paulo. This study was conducted in collaboration with Professor Michael Short from the University of Surrey and Professor Marcelo Said Nagano from the University of São Paulo. And today I will present our paper entitled Mapping the Research Landscape of Circular Startups, Trends, Themes, and Emerging Research Directions. Why circular startups matter? Because they apply circular economy principles through businesses created with circularity in mind from the beginning. So, unlike firms that only adapt an established linear model, these ventures can experiment with alternatives such as reuse, repair, resource recovery, and product life extension. In this way, they can challenge linear systems and turn circular ideas into solutions that can be offered in the market. Although circular startups are receiving more attention, the knowledge about them is spread across different areas. Some studies focus on business models, others on ecosystems, technologies, institutional conditions, barriers, or scaling. It makes it difficult to see how the field is organized and what has already been explained. It also makes it harder to identify the questions that still need strong evidence. Therefore, the purpose was to map the evolution and thematic structure of circular startup research and to identify its principal gaps and future directions. In simple terms, we asked three questions. How quickly is the field growing? Which teams organize the literature? And what should future research investigate next? To achieve this objective, the study followed a five-stage research design. First, PRISMA guided the search and selection of publications. Second, bibliometric analysis mapped the publication trends and the field's thematic structure. Third, Bardhan's content analysis supported the qualitative identification and interpretation of recurring themes. Fourth, LDA identified the latent topics based on words that frequently appear together. Finally, the finds from the content analysis and the topic modeling were triangulated to examine whether the qualitative themes were supported by the latent patterns identified in the corpus. We started the Web of Science and Scopus on the 4th of March 2026 using terms related to circular startups and circular ventures in titles, abstracts, and keywords. The initial search produced 129 records, 57 from Web of Science and 72 from Scopus. After merging the databases, removing duplicates, and screening the records for relevance, 47 publications remained in the final corpus. This is a bibliometric overview of circular startup literature. Using the bibliometric package in R, we analyzed the 47 publications published between 2020 and 2026 across 21 sources and involving 125 authors. The annual growth rate is 34.8%, and almost 45% of the publications involve international core authorship. These indicators show growing academic interest and international collaboration. Scientific production was limited between 2020 and 2022, but increased from 2023, peaking at 16 publications in 2024 and remaining high in 2025. The lower output in 2026 reflects the early data collection date of 4th March. Overall, the trend indicates that circular startup research is a recent but rapidly expanding field. This thematic map shows how circular startup research is organized. Centrality represents a team's relevance, density its level of development, and bubble size its frequency. The clusters circular economy, circular startups, circular business models, and sustainability form the field's conceptual foundation. Although highly central, these themes remain broadly developed. The cluster, entrepreneurship, and small and medium enterprise constitute another relevant but underdeveloped basic theme. The cluster startups, circular strategy, and entrepreneurial ecosystem form the main motor theme, indicating a well-developed and influential research stream. In contrast, industrial ecology and institutional theory remain specialized and weakly connected, while circular business model innovation and textile industry are relatively peripheral. The content analysis identified the 7 categories that show how circular startups have been analyzed in the literature. The categories cover how circular startups are defined and how their business models are configured, their ecosystems and collaborations, scaling and transition pathways, technologies and capabilities, barriers, institutional and sectoral contexts, and environmental and social outcomes. We also applied latent racial allocation, or LDA, a probabilistic topic modeling method that identifies latent themes from recurring word patterns without relying on predefined categories. The model identified 4 topics. Topic 1 concerns circular business models and sustainable value creation. Topic 2 addresses ecosystem and scaling. Topic 3 focuses on capabilities and digital technologies. And finally, Topic 4 brings together sectoral settings, institutions, barriers, and entrepreneurial challenges. LDA therefore provides computational support for interpreting the literature. This figure compares the results from 2 analytical methods. The arrows show substantial correspondence between the 7 qualitative categories and the 4 LDA topics. As you can see, business model studies align with topic 1, ecosystems and scaling align with topic 2, technologies and capabilities align with topic 3, barriers and institutional or sectoral conditions align with topic 4. The social impact and sustainability evidence category appears only partially within topic 4. This convergence increases confidence in the main thematic structure. However, social impact and sustainability evidence are only partially represented in topic 4, suggesting that outcome-related research is less consolidated across the literature. Here we have the main findings, what remains unresolved, and future research. Its future direction responds to a problem revealed by the analysis. First, venture development is discussed through several separate elements, so future research could build and test a circular startup maturity framework. Second, ecosystems and circular strategies are central, while capabilities form a distinct topic. Research should therefore analyze how capabilities and ecosystem conditions interact across development stages. Third, environmental and social outcomes are less consolidated. Studies should measure realized outcomes and, where possible, show whether the circular venture produces benefits beyond what would have happened otherwise. To conclude, this study achieved its objective by mapping the development and the thematic structure of circular startup research. The field has expanded since 2023 and now presents a clear thematic core centered on circular strategies and entrepreneurial ecosystems. However, capability, contextual conditions, and evidence of environmental and social outcomes remain only partially integrated with this core. The main contribution of this study is therefore to review how circular startup research is organized, distinguishing its most developed research stream from the areas that remain less connected and consolidated. It provides a clear foundation for the future development of circular startup research. Thank you very much for your attention.